Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Chanel's Reality. I am Chanel, and this is my reality. Listen, oh, that background looks very, very bright. So I don't want it to black out anything or be hard for people to see. Okay, all right. So today I came on here so that we can talk about um, Love B. Scott and the Kenya Moore of it all. So before we get started, let me just say everything on Chanel's Reality is, in my opinion, and it is for entertainment purposes only. And all of the information is alleged. No matter if I said, if it's written in the chat, and or if another panelist says it, it's all alleged. So first things first, let me just say thank you guys so much for tuning in to Chanel's Reality. And helping me grow my channel. I really, 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 really appreciate it. And then the other thing I wanted to say, hit the like button, hit all my buttons. As Larry Curves would say, hit all my buttons. And so please subscribe. By my birthday, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys can help me do that, we greatly appreciate it. So let's get into it. Okay. So today we're going to talk about what I started yesterday, which is kind of trying to give you guys a breakdown of what revenge P is versus what the streets say, or versus what other people who are Team Twirl, let's say, have decided that it's not revenge P. It just isn't for whatever reason in their mind. But now Love B. Scott is exclusively basically confirming that Kenya has been terminated by Bravo. And so I'm just going to read. I'll share this with you guys. I'm going to read because I don't want to get it. Oh, Lordy. I did not mean to do that. I already had it up. And then I accidentally. Okay. All righty. So let's fill this up. I guess I probably have to do this again. Let's see. I'm learning the YouTube way. Well, that didn't make a difference. I thought that I changed it, but I clearly didn't. Anyways, okay, so it says Love B. Scott exclusively or exclusive. Kenya Moore was suspended. Let me just here. I can see it better. Okay, that's better. It says exclusive. Kenya Moore was suspended, then fired after investigation determined she violated a code of conduct. And this code of conduct is NBC Universal's code of conduct. Apparently, they revamped it sometime last year. So it says Kenya Moore's time with the Real Housewives of Atlanta has come to an end after she was briefly suspended, then fired. And I'm reading this because, you know, people can say whatever out of the side of their face, whether or not it's accurate. I don't know. But Love B. Scott is a person. And like I said, I'm new to the YouTube scene, but she seems to be, or he, or they, or them. I'm not sure how they identify, but their content and their opinions seem to be typically on par and accurate. So it says, we previously reported that Kenya was fired and the door for her future was closed. And now we're back to clarify exactly what led to that decision. We'll start with the pow pow threat allegations. So you guys remember it was being reported early on whenever this fallout began, that one of the new cast members, Britt Eady, had said something like, I got pow pows or pew pews for bitches like that. That's what was being reported as the reason why Kenya decided to blow up, these images and then show them at her spa opening. What's the name of her spa? Oh, Kenya Moore something. Hair spa? Okay. So it says sources close to the situation tell us that Kenya did raise claims of an alleged pow pow or pew pew threat made by the newbie Brittany Eady before her hair spa event. But production investigated and couldn't substantiate the claims. Now let's be clear. I said this yesterday. Listen, I don't trust Bravo's investigations of anything, right? Part of the reason I don't trust, to me, one of the worst and most egregious things that transpired was what happened to Garcelle Bouvet's son on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I don't know if you guys watch that show, but I watch it and I love Garcelle. But what happened was, long story short, her son was cyberbullied, and one of the messages sent to her son's, I think, Instagram said something to the effect, and I'm paraphrasing, if it wasn't for your white daddy, you would have a knee on your neck, relating it back to what happened to George Floyd during the pandemic. And it's egregious and it's terrible and whatever else. And if you go and watch that reunion, they talk about it, but it, to me, doesn't ever seem like there was an investigation going on. And I think Diana, the one lady who everybody seemed to hate, including me, well, I don't hate anyone, but I definitely didn't like her. She was only on there for one season. She was saying she put all this money into an investigation and she's going to find out. Well, it's been like, what, a whole nother season passed, and I still haven't seen any evidence that she found out anything. But I believe Bravo said they investigated it and they didn't find anything or whatever. But I'm like, I feel like Bravo had to be prompted to do that. Like, I don't think they were prompted by Garcelle, because I don't think Bravo gives a shit. If we're being honest, I personally don't think that. And nor do I think Andy does. Because to me, Andy is the biggest, he to me, because of his actions and his, I feel like, lack of, his ignorance regarding certain things. Part of it isn't his fault, because he shouldn't be, I'm not saying he shouldn't host the reunions or anything like that, because I don't agree with that. I think it's cool that he does it. But when there are certain circumstances, like what happened to Garcelle Bouvet's son, you probably want to have somebody come in that's an expert. And I feel this way. If you can have Nicki Minaj, if you can get a whole ass celebrity to come on there just because she wants to, shout out to Nicki Minaj, you telling me you can't get some sort of professional on undoing racism for Potomac? You're telling me you can't get someone, some professional counselor or some expert on the effects of social media and how race plays a big ass role in things that happen, and how, well, let me see. Beverly Hills has been on, what, almost as many years as Atlanta. I think maybe 1 or 2 years after Atlanta came out. Y'all don't have nobody. So you're ignorant, and that's okay. But just say, hey, we're ignorant to this, and then do something about it. Don't say I'm ignorant. Yeah, we just don't really know. We never, right? You put something into effect. And I'm not in any way on Kenya's side of this, but if I had to guess, this is what she's talking about when she's referring to toxic environment. Now, like I said, I'm not on Kenya's team because I think Kenya's toxic, if we're being very clear. But she has a point. We're not doing the whataboutisms here today. But I'm saying this is why people are constantly saying he doesn't need to be in that seat, this, that, and the third. I don't think that he doesn't need to be in the seat, but I think Bravo and NBC Universal and Truly Original, all the people, Shed Media, they need to have some sort of training. And when something like this happens, you need to have an expert come there, even if it's something that's filmed prior to the reunion. Show the fans, show the viewers that you're taking it seriously. And if you do that, perhaps someone like Kenya and that other guy that y'all keep saying, I think it's John Savalda or something like that. I don't know his name. So, sorry. But Sandoval, maybe? These people possibly would think twice. They maybe possibly, if y'all handled the other guy correctly, allegedly, for whatever his alleged claims were, maybe Kenya would have said, oh, you know what I mean? This probably ain't a great idea. And I'm starting to get a better understanding as to why Kandi came out in defense of her. Because at first I'm just like, that's so irresponsible. Why would you say that? That's, whatever, all my reasons for why that's dumb as hell for Kandi to say. But the biggest is it's illegal if we believe what the streets are saying. But I feel like now Kandi probably knew that Kenya was terminated and knew that Kenya couldn't say anything about it. That's my opinion as to why, because maybe she was thinking, maybe if she makes a stance on it or whatever, Bravo might, make a different decision. But I personally think they didn't want Kenya there, personally, especially after she went on Carlos King about the Nene thing. And by the way, Kenya, if you're listening, and I know you're not, but if you are listening, how do you say about Nene? Oh, I think she said, and I'm paraphrasing on Carlos King, something to the effect of, if she, like Nene shouldn't have gone to the network, shouldn't have sued the network and then expected her job back. Now Kenya's allegedly suing the network. That didn't age well, love, if that's true. But anyway, let's get back to the article. So the pew pew allegations was running around the internet that this, to me, I can't say if that happened or not, because we haven't been shown proof that it did happen. Excuse me. And then the lady, Britt Eady, came out and said she denied it. Basically, she said, no, I don't have a pew pew, and I would never do that, yada, yada, yada. Same thing as Kenya. I've never done anything nor would I ever do anything in the revenge P category. I've not done that. Denial, right? Both of them denied it. So who do you believe? I don't know if this Britt Eady lady has a pew pew or not. But I think Kenya put out a statement the other day saying something like she has proof that she didn't do the revenge P thingy and that she's going to show us soon. So we'll see. But I think the allegations of the pew pew for Miss Britt Eady, I think that's what people wanted to use to justify why Kenya retaliated and did this other thing. But then I'm like, y'all can't have it both ways. So are you saying she did this in retaliation? Because that's the part of the law that's part of the reason that the law is in place, to let you know you can't retaliate. You can't use images. You can't create images of anyone in a sexual explicit manner and use it to retaliate against them, to try to humiliate them. You just can't do it. And allegedly, that's what Kenya Moore has done. Allegedly. Everything in this conversation is alleged. And in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. But you have to pick a lane. So which lane are y'all going to be in? Which lane is it? So because to me, with this whole situation with Kenya, bless her heart, but you got to pick a lane too. People are running around the internet, all of your team Toro, talking about how smart you are and no, you would never do this, that, and the third. I don't know, I might need a rain check on how smart you are, because you either are dumb or you're acting dumb. But you can't do both. You have to figure out what lane you want to be in, because this has cost you your bag if what Love B. Scott is saying is true. And like I said before, I haven't been on YouTube long, but she seems to be credible. She, he, they, them. I'm not sure how to do it. I don't know what the pronoun is, but that individual or their organization seems to be credible. Okay. And it says, but production investigated. And so they're saying that production investigated this scenario and they couldn't find or substantiate any of the claims regarding Brittany Eady threatening to use a pew pew to handle people like Kenya. But again, this same investigation, well, I don't know if it's the same investigation team, but department also didn't find anything racist, couldn't find anything racist or to substantiate. Oh God, what was her name? She's having a baby now. She was the first and only Black cast member, unless they put someone new in the legacy or the new revamped one. I haven't watched that one, so I don't know. Something, it's not Michelle, it's something K. Williams. Why can't I think of her name? But y'all know who I'm talking about. Miss K. Williams. She was on that one season of New York Housewives, and it was in the middle of the pandemic, and there was a lot of racial tension after what happened to George Floyd, because everybody was sitting around and everybody had time. Everybody at home. Can nobody go to work? Can nobody go to school? So even though brown people understood that this is tragic, we understood that it's not anything new. But I think for a lot of other people, even though we were outraged and we marched and all of that, there were a lot of other people who just believed, just comply. Just comply. If he would have just complied, he wouldn't have stopped it. So during that time, everything was heightened. And this is when Ebony, that's her name, Ebony K. Williams, I think is her last name, was basically has said that, a producer told her some things that Ramona allegedly said that were racist. And I believe Ebony. She's credible. Ramona is not. And we've seen why over the years. She's just not. And then she eventually got fired, I think. Yeah, I think all of them got fired. But we know Ramona got fired for sure. Anyways, allegedly, I'm going to just say that. So they allegedly investigated that. Bravo. Allegedly. And didn't find any evidence. I don't know how you couldn't, because it's evidence everywhere. Get some brown people there to kind of show you. But here's the thing. I feel like they had to have paid Ebony something, because Ebony walked off that show. That was the first time in history that I ever remember a franchise not having a reunion. Ebony, I believe wholeheartedly, was going to eat them for breakfast. Okay. She was going to eat all of Bravo for breakfast because she's a whole attorney. What did she tell you, Luann and them? She told all of them. She said, I'm the most educated person sitting at this table. Catch it. And she's right. I've been telling y'all about Black women in this country. I don't know why we so underestimated. Listen, we're some of the most educated people in this country. It just is what it is. I have 3 college degrees and my husband has 1. No shade, but it just is what it is. I'm just an example. I'm not the exception. I'm the rule, right? We're just educated, but we don't get what we deserve. Anyways, let me move on. Okay. So there was no indication of Kenya refusing to film or taking some time off. In fact, our sources say she continued to plan her hair spa event with no added precautions or additional concerns for her safety. So what they're saying is, we call them bullshit. That's what this article is reporting. And the reason I'm paraphrasing in that way is because if you're claiming that you were threatened by a cast member, and that you went to the network and said, hey, this person threatened me with a pew pew by saying I have pew pews for bitches like that, then I'm not filming with you. It doesn't make sense to say I'm in fear of my life and my safety. Let me take it back. I don't know that she said she was in fear of her life, but if you're in fear of your personal physical safety and you can help it, because some people live in homes that are violent, but that's not this. So sometimes you can't help it. You say it like that. Fear makes you sometimes go back, right? Because maybe those people can find you wherever you might try to go on and hide. But in this case, Kenya Moore has demonstrated, at least in my opinion, from where I'm seated, that she's not in fear really of anybody except Mark. He embarrassed that lady for a whole year, and I don't even like Kenya like that. And I was sitting there like, yo, whoa. I've been saying since day one, since it's broke, why if Kenya is so angry with this lady, whatever she's done, Miss Brittany Eady, it couldn't be worse than whatever Mark has done. But you don't have the posters for him saying how he's over here trying to take everything you have, including your house, the home you bought and how do you say it? My words get mixed up sometimes. I have brain fog. Renovated? There's another word that I want to use that I can't think of. But anyways, you rebuilt your home for the most part. So he's trying to take all of that and trying to take your job by saying he doesn't want his daughter or y'all's daughter, Brooklyn, to be on the show when we know she needs to be on the show so Kenya can show her family side. Just like they want you to have, either they want you to have kids or a husband or both. And then sometimes the husbands can screw it up for the wives by saying, nope, can't show my child or children. Anyways, and that can get you terminated. So Bravo is saying you can't have it both ways. So if you were in fear of your own safety, Giselle Bryant, after you done made a whole, don't get me started. I cannot. Anyways, but they're friends, Kenya and Giselle, allegedly, at least industry friends. You can't have it both ways. You have to pick a lane. You can't say I'm in fear of my personal physical safety, and I'm paraphrasing, and then go on to continue planning your spa grand opening, and then invite the person that you said you're scared of. You can't go down to the HR and say, this person is threatening me with physical violence, but then still invite that person. And Kenya would have a case if, and this is a very big if, production forced her to invite this person. Because now you're, there's a phrase that I want to use. Let me think about it for a second. She could say she has post-traumatic stress, because if something happened to me on my job that made me be in fear of coming to work and I report it, and then you still make me come back to work and then make me invite the threat to work or to my event, that's work for Kenya, that's real problematic. Real problematic. Listen, if Bravo thought they had some lawsuits on their hands, they ain't seen nothing yet. You do some stuff like that. Because as an employer, you do need to investigate it. Right? So if Kenya truly did report it and Bravo said, yep, but you still have to invite her, and she felt forced, she would have an argument for a lawsuit. And I'm not a lawyer, so run that by a lawyer, but I think she would. Think about it like this. If I work at a bank and I'm held, someone comes in and tries to rob the bank, and they have a pew pew to my head, and they get their money, but then they tell me they know where I live or whatever. I have pew pews for people like you. If you try to come and find me, whatever, if you say something to the police, that's a threat of this physical violence. They know where you live, and they robbing a bank, and they threaten you. And then your boss tells you got to come back to report to work the next morning. No, I'm in mental emotional distress. I'm not coming to work. Sorry, you have to figure it out, and you're gonna pay me unless there's something in their, what do you call it, hand, or whenever they get hired that says, this is the work environment can be hazardous, right? So like people on a construction site probably have to sign something that says, that basically releases to some degree uh, responsibility to the employer, and or the employer might have life insurance on them, or they might be encouraged to sign something that says, um, what is the name of it? I forget what it's called. Accidental death or dismemberment. You know, those insurance papers, like if you work at a factory or something where something could dismember you, they want you to get that extra insurance so that you can get paid if you're not able to work. Anyways, unless Bravo has something like that in their contract and Kenya signed it and said that regardless of whatever, this is a work environment that might be hazardous, which I don't see how it could be, because all they do is go fake shopping and fake dinners and fake vacations. Anyway, they go on their vacations and whatever else, and they have drama that's conjured up. I do think some of the drama is actually real, meaning the responses are real. But y'all gotta go through it again and make it a little more of this. It's like, stop it. Anyway, back to the story. So they're basically saying, this article is saying that Kenya can't have it both ways. She needs to pick a lane. Because if you either are scared and in fear for your safety, or, and if you are, why are you still planning your opening and inviting this lady? Part of the planning included blowing up sexually compromising photos of Brittany to display for attendees. It says it was clear Kenya went through great lengths to antagonize her. Another source tells us those photos aren't easily accessible on the internet. Otherwise, they'd be circulating right now. She not only got the photos from somewhere, but also the posters made. That's not something you would do to someone who allegedly threatened you with a pew pew. Now, I want to present evidence A for me on here on a live. And I basically said the same exact thing. So let me see if I can pull it up. All righty. I'm shady. Ooh, Jesus. Oh my God. So spend some. I'm a whole mess. Child. Put on your thinking hat, child. Listen. Yours truly. No, I'm joking. No, but I'm just saying, like, come on, guys. I said this yesterday. But I'm just one little person on, in the YouTube streets of millions. But logic says, I've been saying this for weeks, that it makes no sense that if this lady is saying that I never would do that and this, that, and the third, I don't necessarily believe that Kenya would never do it because Kenya's done a lot of things that I didn't think Kenya would necessarily do. So the bar was real low for her, in my opinion. So yeah, I believed it. And I had every reason to believe it, not because I just randomly believe random people at an event, but I just feel like if it don't add up, there's a lie somewhere. Now I still can't say with 100% certainty what Kenya did, but it's like she's presenting dots that we can see. She just thinks we're not smart enough to connect them. And again, I'm happy to be wrong. So the moment Kenya, if it isn't revenge P, the moment she shows us exactly what she showed and everything, and I can look at the law and say, yep, it's on the fence. As Kim Pye, shout out to Kim Pye, always saying, "Turking on the fence." It's on the fence, but it's not quite there. But it looks like it would be. I mean, just based on some of the stuff. When someone's like on the audio, is that a penis? And we know that the reason you're doing it is to humiliate this lady. How do we know that? Because you said, we heard you say she's a something hoe. What is she called? A cheap hoe? A fraud hoe? I think. Don't quote me on that. Anyway. So again, that's what the people here are saying. Let me continue to share it 1 second. That's what they're saying. Where's this phantom photo that y'all talking about? It seems to not listen. It clearly, it's just not accessible. And I don't understand how that's possible. Let me see if I can do it this way so I can be. No, it won't let me do it. I wonder why. Okay, let's try this photo. Let's see. Let's try this one. Let's see. Okay, so that's better. So again, they say that's not something you would do to someone who allegedly threatened you with a pow pow or a pew pew. I agree. Says the source continues, everyone, especially production, was shocked that Kenya would do this in front of a room full of people. I don't understand who are these people that are shocked, but they are. Anyway, it's no secret that Bravo, NBC Universal has been under fire in recent months, facing allowing allegations of allowing misconduct. After Kenya's stunt, she was suspended from further filming while production determined whether or not her actions were a violation of her contract. So that's what Bravo is leaning on. They're saying she's in violation. One of my panelists, Gabs, shout out to her the other day, she commented and she said, well, no one reads those books. She's right. It's like an intro. I feel like a company head, what is it called? Handbook or whatever, code of conduct book. I think it's like no one reads it, number one. That there may be a 1% of the population that does, but in general, people don't read important documents. You would think that they do, but they don't. We go online and we tap what is it? Read terms of service on all these different devices and all these different apps and whatever else, and ain't nobody read all of that. And if you said you read it, you lying and you have too much time on your hands. So, or both. Anyways, nobody's reading that, including me. It's like you get a policy for an auto policy or a homeowner's policy, and it's this thick. And basically, if you've ever really looked at one, so that you could file a claim, everything in that policy, with the exception of maybe 2 pages, says nothing falls under this policy. Anything that you need to claim, it's all excluded. It's like, are you serious? It's like all the things. So it'll be like, okay, you have water damage to your house, right? Water damage isn't covered. Only in these specific situations. So like, let's say you live in a low-lying area and you have this policy that you pay handsomely for every single month, right? And there's a flood and somehow water seeps into your house and you want to file a claim. Well, your policy doesn't cover acts of God. Go read your policy. In my other life, I worked for AAA, so I know. But yeah, AAA is a good one though. They're like Mercedes-Benz of insurance. So anyways, we had them for years and years and years. After I stopped. But yeah, it's gonna say, yeah, the water, unless you have flood insurance, and a lot of times you have to get approved for it. And sometimes they don't even let you have it. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But that's not gonna be covered. What will be covered is something like so flood water wouldn't be covered. But like if let's say in that same storm where it flooded, you or maybe it didn't flood, the lightning hits a tree which comes through your roof, and then as a result you have water damage, that would be covered. Or like your pipe bursts, they're going to say, we're not replacing that pipe, that's not covered. You like, that's the thing. They're like, no, we're not going to cover the pipe replacement, but we'll cover the damages that the water caused from the pipe bursting. So that's what I feel about handbooks at your job. People do not read it until they need it, and by then it's too late. Just saying. Because I can promise you, if Kenya had read it, she probably wouldn't have done that. But I don't know. She's a little bit of a rebel. So as it turns out, production found that Kenya's actions violated their code of conduct clause, and ultimately decided she won't be coming back. So this is what's confusing to me about that is because it seems like it's been reported, not verified, but reported that there's this open door for Kenya. So there's like this mutual parting, and there's never a mutual parting if listen, there's no mutual party. People aren't going to leave a job where they're making an insane amount of money for very relatively small amount of work. Like it's disproportionate, right? So why would I leave barring something that's beyond my control? Like I truly have to take care of my health or the health of my child or the health of my husband or, you know what I mean, my mom, and this interferes with that. But again, they probably would make some exceptions for you, right? You know, if you're worth it to them. But if they see you as a liability to them, then they're not. This violation is a liability if it's true, which Bravo makes that determination, or NBC. Sorry, my dog's dreaming about something. And y'all pray for my dog. I don't know if you watched my video from yesterday, but I had to like put y'all on pause for a second and go check him because he had been coughing and coughing for like 2 or 3 days. And my husband was like, well, you know, I think it might be because he was having what appeared to me and my husband to be like seizures because he would just fall out and then would pee. It was just out my heart. Anyways, so the other day I woke up and he had just finished an episode, but I could see there was pee. So I went and got like, you know, the Glade smell and stuff. And typically I don't get that. I use like baking soda. Is it baking soda? That Arm & Hammer stuff. Because it's probably not toxic to animals. But anyways, I put that down. And so since he started coughing after that, my husband was like, oh, he probably looked up all the stuff. And I'm like, I'm not a doctor, but no, because that would infect your stomach or maybe make him vomit, but that wouldn't make him cough constantly. It would be more of like, to me, it sounded more like aspiration, right? So you're trying to get the liquid out of your lungs or something like that. So I ended up, because I just couldn't take it anymore, at like probably 12:30 or 1 this morning. I was like, I'm just gonna take him to the bed because I just couldn't. I couldn't hear him continuously cough. He couldn't rest. I couldn't. So I took him, and I'm glad that I did. I'm glad. I'm sad about it because we found out that he has congestive heart failure. So that's rough because he's my little Bentley, you know. He's listen, all the kids love him. He's very good with kids. Everybody does. He's a perpetual puppy, so he's a and just be driving us nuts. So when like kids come over, because everybody's on Coco's house, obviously. I'm Coco, by the way. Like Coco Chanel. I'm Coco. And so they wear him out there. He'd be like hiding under the table. What do you call that table in the living room? The coffee table or whatever. I'm like, I ain't helping you. You don't give me no rest. Anyways, yeah, I'll be like, okay, leave him alone. He clearly is tired of y'all. But he's on medication. So he seemed like he's better. I'm just like, that's a lot of medication. And let's not get started on that bill. Okay. I'm laughing, jokingly saying, oh yeah, this is before I know everything. And I'm telling the doctor, the vet, what's been going on with him. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, because she's like, yeah, we'd have to get an x-ray to confirm this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh, it's going to probably be $500. No, I said, oh, it's probably $1,000. She's just like, yeah. I was like, oh shit. Like internally, I died a little bit. Child, because we can't even get out the fruit section, the veggie section, without spending $123. Just saying. But I can't say no to, you know, my dog's vet bill. I can't be feeling away when I'm in there advocating for myself to have these, you know, $1,000 Chanel sandals. What kind of mother am I? can justify Chanel, but not, yeah. Anyway, I would always, make sure my dog's taken care of. He's well taken care of. But just pray for him, because the doctor was like, so I feel two ways. The doctor was like, many dogs live for months with this. Plus, he has fluid in his lungs. That's what was making him cough. So with his heart not working right, it's like it builds fluid or releases fluid or something like that, and it gets trapped in the lungs. And so you need this medication to like flush it out. It's expensive to have a pet. So I don't know how people run around the earth with Lassie and a wiener dog and a German Shepherd and a gerbil, and unless you are a vet, okay, you can treat your own pets. Because, well, maybe they like them hood dogs. You know them hood dogs that be in the street, and even though you driving down the street, they don't move out the way. And they be like, go around me. My dog's not a hood dog, so he doesn't understand. Listen, child, he wouldn't know what to do. He would not know what to do. He would get out of that. He wouldn't know what to do for him. It's my fault, because we did. It's our fault, me and my husband, because we didn't really what's the right word? Socialize him. I don't know. Anyway, he's so cute, so you don't really want to put him in harm's danger or harm's way. Okay. So Bravo says, or somebody says, Bravo never, a source, I'll say that, never accused Kenya of revenge P. That was never what the investigation was about. A third source close to production tells Lovely Scott it was about determining if Kenya's actions involved sexually explicit images violated the code of conduct. And they did. She can point fingers all she wants, but she has nobody to blame but herself. That's kind of what I've been saying from the jump. You're a whole ass 50-plus-year-old woman. How are you still blaming other people? And if something had happened and this situation violated her, like this Brittany Eady situation, if that's true, and Kenya went to them, then Kenya's smart enough to know she should have said, I have to stop production. I can't, I'm scared for my safety. So I'm not going to allow you guys to continuously put me into a circumstance or situation where I have to be in a room with this person who's threatened my life, allegedly. So again, for the people, Team Toro running around the earth talking about, Kenya would never do that, this, that, and the third, and she's so smart. A smart person would take an inventory and say, you know what? Let me take a beat. Make sure I know what I'm talking about. Let me go read what Bravo's policies are regarding this and the third. Because think about it. It doesn't have to be this big, huge company, Bravo. If you are being threatened at your work, at the Church's Chicken, or at the local Walmart, or at your wherever that you work in the community, right? Someone's violating you or telling you they're going to violate you. Aren't you going to look up something to see if you have if you go to HR and they don't, whatever, but typically you keep notes, right? This is what happened at 3:30 p.m. on this day at this time. The reason I remember is because it was during lunch. This person was there. This other person, you want to keep that, because if your HR people decide to not really investigate, and let's be clear, they work for your company, not you. So all this talk about they're impartial, you can't be impartial and still be getting paid by the people that you're supposed to be investigating. It's a conflict of interest. They have words like that in that handbook, I'm sure, of other things that you can't do. But anyways, no. So you would have to, if you truly want objectivity in an investigation, then you would need to have an outside party, because people are shady. And King is the shade assassin, allegedly. So people are shady, so we can't trust what someone else is saying about you if it's coming from the company. We can't. So we need somebody that has no dog in the fight, that is just collecting information and then and then going to, let's say, Bravo and saying, Bravo has said this is in violation of their code of conduct. Well, let me see that documentation. Let me see the signature of Mrs. Moore, where she signed and the date, so we can know she signed it before she made, before she decided to make all these posters and this, that, and the third. We need to do, like I said, an objective investigation into her accusation of this Britt Eady lady. Because if she said that, then she's in violation too. Both of them can go. So while outside sources, this is the article again. And for people who just now maybe tuning in, we're talking about the Love B. Scott exclusive report or article talking about the fact that, or really confirming allegedly that Kenya Moore was terminated, fired, and not that it was some sort of mutual agreement. And again, why would I mutually agree to let go of my bag, my $90,000 a month bag? I wouldn't do that for no reason. This is arguably probably the easiest money someone can make. And I'm not talking about the emotional part, because that's what Kenya's probably going to claim is toxic, right? And if y'all are going to say, if y'all are going to have all this, we're going to blame the victim. I'm going to bring Cassie into this for all of the people that, no, she was just there, okay? Oh, if she really wanted to leave, she could have. We're going to use that same logic for Kenya. So she must have liked it. You know what lots of people said online about Cassie? She's staying around because she just likes the life, the lifestyle, and the money, and this, that, and the third. Well, let's apply that to her. But we're not going to do that, right? Right. We're not. Listen, I believe 100% this is a toxic environment. I don't have to work for Bravo on their show. I'm a viewer. I can see it's toxic from 10 miles away. Can you not? Is it just me? You getting people allegedly liquored up, and then the moment they look like they real tipsy and whatever else, then they're maybe not in their right. I won't say they're not necessarily in the right mind, because again, that's relative. But you've noted that you give this person drink after drink, so maybe they have 3 drinks, and this is the behavior that they start to have. So someone noted that. So let's continue to do that, because she's out. What do they say? Put Lisa Rinna on the drink train or something like that when she's supposedly drunk. Let's be clear. My personal opinion, and I don't drink like that. I drink occasionally. But I've never been drunk. But this is what I do believe for certain. The first time I took a shot is the first time I was like, couldn't understand what was happening. Because I was sitting there just, so my who I am as a person, certain things, people doing wrong in the world, it bothers my soul. That's why I'm a social worker in the 30s. I'm here to help, right? So things that would annoy me, after I took that shot, I wasn't even annoyed. I was sitting Listen, it was a shot of what my friends say is that's so low key or whatever. They're like, it was a shot of Fireball. Listen, Fireball had me sitting chilling. Okay, I was the most unbothered I have been in my whole entire life. Let's be very clear. Just so unbothered. Okay. But that, all jokes aside, it is my belief that people don't. I think it's a false narrative that people don't know what they're doing because they're drunk or tipsy. I think people know exactly what they're doing. I think they, like me, when I took the shot, it just doesn't bother them like it would if they had not been drinking. That's my personal opinion, right? And I do think that they know, like, you realize, because if you didn't know, how did y'all make it from the club to the hotel, to the telly? Okay, how did you get your clothes off? You don't know what you're doing? You absolutely know. You might not remember, but you know. And I'm not talking about the people who are incoherent. I'm not talking about that. Right? I'm not talking about someone being SA, because they are blacked out. and whatever else. But I do think you still understand what's happening. You may just have a very lowered response that you wouldn't normally have if you weren't drunk. Anyway, let's get back to it. That was my example of like toxic. Yeah. If you liquoring people up, allegedly, and you've seen, oh, when we get this person liquored up, Luann, come to the front. That lady got out a whole set of handcuffs in the car, yelling at the cop to release her out of the handcuffs. It's the privilege of it all for me. I can promise you that would have never happened. She would have, the fact that Luann didn't go to jail, served jail time. Y'all think Kenya would have not been taken to jail and served jail time? And I told y'all I ain't Team Turtle, but I think it would have had a different outcome. This what appears to be a heavily intoxicated lady that is so intoxicated she ended up in the wrong hotel room. I don't even know how she got in there. I think somebody was cleaning the room or something. I don't remember. But I ain't never seen the reason that rings false to me. Have y'all ever seen housekeeping in the middle of the night? Because I haven't. Not ever. And I told you I live for 5-star hotels and room service. I ain't never seen it. In Dubai, I didn't see it. In the Bahamas, I didn't. Top tier hotels that we were staying in. Never seen it. What I have seen is the overworked person that does 3 jobs at the hotel, bringing you sheets or extra blanket. I ain't never seen housekeeping in the middle of the night. So this is the middle of the night, and I saw it on video. How did she get in the room? You have to have a key. And if she was on the wrong floor at the wrong room, how did she get in? Again, couldn't have been Kenya, in my opinion. So it says production is now trying to figure out where to go and whether or not Kenya's previously filmed scenes will be included in the season at all. Y'all think they're gonna be able to include? Or listen, Bravo, come to the front. Andy, are we bringing Ray Ray back? Who's Ray Ray? Ray Ray Sheree. Little Pookie in there. We're gonna bring Sheree back for the 16th season for the 15th time. Sheree, if they offer you a contract, sweetheart, sign your name, okay? Because I still ain't figured out how you able to pay your light bill in what looks like a $10 million house. Listen, my light bill is religiously $500 in the summertime. And my house, you could probably put 10 of my houses in Ray Ray's house. Child. We're not even getting to the mortgage. How you paying the light bill, sis, and water bill? Bob over there? Is Bob over there, girl? Who helping you? I promise I don't understand how she's still running around in Gucci and Louis and Chanel. Because listen, nothing at Sheree's house looks, let me say it like this. Everything at Sheree's house looks expensive. Everything. So. I also was thinking earlier, so do you guys think this is why Candy was so adamant of, like going on to her platforms and declaring that, Kenya should not be suspended for that? I personally think, now that I think about it, I was thinking about this earlier, I think that she being Candy, I think she probably knew that Kenya was terminated. And so she probably was like, let me get on my platform. I didn't want to put on my glasses so I could see good, but this ring light won't let me be great. Whatever. Anyways, I think Candy was probably thinking I was the most I was the longest running housewife that never was fired and had to come, back for whatever reason. And maybe because she has a good relationship or had a good relationship with the organization, maybe she had some pull. I'm always going to call a thing, especially if I'm informed about it. And this is just a really poor decision. And what's, in my opinion, an even even worse decision than the alleged revenge P is after you're caught. Even if you don't think you're wrong, you could sit back and assess, maybe I didn't know this was against the law, right? Allegedly. Maybe I didn't know that. But I've had some time to think and reflect because you're not 13, right? You understand reasoning skills. And you also understand this is not something you would stand for if someone did it to you, regardless of whatever you did. You just wouldn't stand for it. You pulling out Kim Phil's whole chair because your bestie gave her the contract. You're that angry over that when you had every opportunity to show up to the meeting that your bestie invited you to. You didn't. And so someone else got the job. And because someone else got the job, you're pissed about it. And instead of saying to your friend, hey, I really wish you over here mad at the person that ain't had nothing to do with it. She came up, she showed up. You trying to destroy this lady's confidence. This is another lady, Tanya, in her and her fiance relationship by bringing the cookie lady because she said you had a wig. Everyone knew you had a wig, Kenya. Why are you doing that? Poor decisions. That's why. And Bravo let you get away with it. And that's not a situation where I think Bravo can step in and say, oh, you can't do that, because they do need a level of drama. But you're a human first. And being that you had whatever you had going on at home with Mr. Mark Daly, the lady that you said was trying to keep the sex going with him, that's problematic. He's talking to you crazy. That's problematic. He's embarrassing you the whole next season. He didn't, in my opinion, he didn't just start that season. I don't care what Kenya says. You're too comfortable with your responses to me and your behavior towards me for me to believe that behavior just started when cameras went up. No. She's intelligent. Her, Chanel, she's not stupid. Mm-mm. My whole adult life, I've worked with victims of some sort, whether they're victims of violence, children, people who've been sexually exploited, sex crimes, you name it, people who have intellectual disabilities, psych patients, worked in hospitals. So I pretty much have touched, geriatrics, babies, people who unalive their own kids or other people's kids. Trust. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm not saying that. But in the area where people need help physically and emotionally, I've seen a lot and helped a lot. So I can have empathy, but I also can tell you that ain't the first time that man was treating her that way. So my thing is, if you're already having problems at your own, what they say, on your own front porch, Why are you over here trying to expose this lady? And the irony that literally the next, was it the next season? I don't remember if it was the next season. No, it wasn't the next season. I think it was later in the season whenever they had that spat, or he was treating her poorly at that event, the Black Man's Lab or something like that. And then they was getting ready to board the flight, and Candy was like, everybody had found out that after that event, can you file for a divorce? And they were getting ready to travel to Rome, or they were going somewhere across the pond. And Candy was like, can y'all please like just try not to bring up, you know, the divorce and everything. And here come Marlo. I'm not laughing at Kenya, but I'm laughing at Marlo because Marlo is sitting on ready at all times, just like Kenya. Anyways, Marlo says, I don't know if I'll be able to do that. Like Marlo. Anyways, and here come Nene. You know, Nene's like, Kenya should have thought of that before she sat and brought the cookie lady. And I'm paraphrasing in front of Tanya. Nene was right, 1,000%. Nene was like, this is gonna give her a good wake up call. Wake up. Dang, Jesus. That's why you gotta be prepared. You cannot listen. I said this yesterday. When you plot revenge, dig 2 graves. Dig one for yourself, because it's gonna be all over you. Find the line in anything that I've said. Find the lie. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. Like I said before, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I am so many away. I think I'm almost to 400, so I need 600 by my birthday. 600 plus, because I'm almost to 400, I think. So if you guys could, share my video, like my video, subscribe to my video, all of these things are helpful in growing my channel here on YouTube. So if you like what you see, hit the like button, leave a comment down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Are y'all team twirl? Did you agree with whatever I presented regarding the Kenya situation and what Love Feast God is exclusively, what she's exclusively released to the public? Do you think Kenya was justified? Do you think it's a lie that she was fired? Or do you think she left on her own? I don't think people walk away from a bad, like not that type of bad. But that's just me. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And I will see you later. Again, thanks for tuning in to Chanel's Reality. Y'all have a good one until next time. Bye.